everyone. Welcome to 8X Pixel Virtual Expo on this beautiful Wednesday evening, where we're going to talk about everything there is to do on ocean conservation. And today I have here with me Joshua O'Neill, all the way from Singapore, where he's going to share with us a little bit more about his non-profit organization called Love is in Action, and also his little project called the Little Club Project. And also he will be sharing with us a little bit on his collaboration with the founders of To Live For, Paul Knoll and also Donna Maria Knoll on an exclusive book preview called Loving Kai that's going to be launched officially worldwide during the World Ocean Day. And all proceeds for this book will go to charities and also organizations that fronts on ocean conservation. So welcome, Joshua. Welcome to 8X Pixel Expo.
Thanks, Nora. So nice to see you again. How have you been?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm always well. I think we're all in Singapore, and they've just lifted our lockdown, our circuit breaker a little bit. So today I went outside for just briefly. Wow, whole different world out there. Forgot what it looked like.
Really? Have you been staying and behaving yourself during this circuit breaker period?
Yeah, pretty much inside a lot. I've been down to the Kalang River a few times, done a bit of plorking. We all know what plorking is. That's picking up litter while we're walking. Yes. So done a little bit of that. Count the pieces as I go. I find it's good because I can only do so much aerobics inside. So it's really nice to kind of get out and do some squats while I pick up rubbish. I wish I didn't have to, but it's all part of what we need to do, yeah?
Definitely. All right. Joshua, maybe you can, since you mentioned flocking, right? I got it right. Maybe you can share with us a little bit more about what is the mission behind Love is in Action? Because I know you are a party dive instructor, and you've been doing it for a while, but that's really your sideline job. But professionally, you are working for a huge MNC as a project manager. Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about your journey and how you actually transpired to the creation of Love is in Action.
Thanks, Nora. Thank you so much. And I appreciate the opportunity to be able to do it. I feel like I should be wearing about 8 hats while you're saying all of that. You know, many, many years ago, I was born in the beautiful city of Christchurch in New Zealand, a small island down the bottom of the world, surrounded by ocean. And I lived my life on a farm, but always actually not too far away from the ocean. I had a great affinity. A lot of my working life, I've been in Australia, internationally, and a fair bit of time in Southeast Asia. So you're 100% right when you say that I'm a project manager. I'm a program director for the largest tech integration that's happened in FY19 between Entity Limited, Dimension Data, and a whole lot of other kind of affiliates. So that's my day job. How did I come to be doing that? I've spent most of my life in project management. But around 7 years ago, I took a little bit of a sabbatical to continue my diving career. And I ended up in the beautiful island of Pulau Perhentian in Malaysia, somewhere I'm sure you've been to. And I started my rescue divers, and then I went back and I became a dive master. From there, I became a PADI staff instructor. And when the monsoon occurred, I went to Thailand and became a PADI staff instructor. And then from there, came back eventually to Malaysia and worked for a period of time on the beautiful island of Pulau Tioman. I spent around about 6 months on Tioman. I then was back in Kuala Lumpur doing lots of things. I own my own company in KL. We do a lot of social media work and public relations, etc. But I continue to instruct new divers whenever I can, and that's my part-time job. Around about a year ago, I came to Singapore and continued to do some diving, not so much instructing, and I came here to take the role as a program director with this large company. This takes up a lot of my time and energy. But I can tell you, the middle of last year, and I think you know some of this story, the middle of last year, I went and saw an Australian documentary called Blue, the film. And, you know, being a diver for so many years, I've seen the deterioration of our reefs. I've seen the huge accumulation of marine litter that we now have. And I used to pick it up as I was diving. But this movie, and even the talk with the director at the time, this movie moved me to action. We're going to say moved me to action. And this is really where Lovers in Action kind of came from. Because I've said for years, I love the ocean. I think ever since I was small, I said, I love the ocean. And but just saying you love something doesn't really show that you do. I mean, Nora, you might have a very handsome boyfriend and he brings you chocolates or roses or things like that. He does an action to show you that he loves you. And I feel that all I've been saying was, I love the ocean, but I've not actually done anything to preserve it or to make it better or to look after it. So my philosophy became, love, if you're going to say you love something, make it a verb, don't make it a noun, actually do something about it. Now, I watched this movie and it brought me to the point where I created a non-profit organization here in Singapore called Lovers in Action. We had a launch in January of this year of this organization. We've gone from strength to strength until COVID came along, and then we couldn't get out and pick up that rubbish. But over this COVID time, I've launched what's called the Litter Club Project. And you can find us on Instagram or Facebook under the Litter Club Project. And the response to people within our Southeast Asia region in going out, taking photos of rubbish, of marine litter, of issues that we have in our community, that has just been phenomenal. In less than 3 weeks, we have over 1,000 images showing us from around our region just how bad this issue is. And so sadly, so many of these images depict children living, eating, breathing amongst all of this marine litter. And if you go through the images, that the hashtag is the Litter Club. If you go through the images, they really pull a heartcord. So that kind of gives you a little bit of background about me. I'm now still working full-time as a program director, but I've really turned into an actionist, and my heart is truly into how we can make a difference to what's happening on our planet on a day-to-day basis, and start getting rid of what the rubbish that's impacting our marine environment. Thanks, Nora.
Thank you, Josh. All right, so you have been collaborating a lot with different partners and stakeholders, and your most recent initiative that you have shared with me is that you actually collaborated to write a book called Loving Kai. And perhaps you can tell us a little bit more the story behind it, how it actually, became that way. So perhaps you can tell us a little bit more about Loving Kai.
This, again, I truly believe that all things happen for a reason. And over the last few months, I've just met some incredible people within our community that are working towards making a difference, I guess, a difference for our planet. And if I look at To Live For, and this is a limited liability company which is based, the couple who started this, a husband and wife who started this, they actually live in Captain Cook in Hawaii, and which is so strange because Captain Cook and New Zealanders very much together. But essentially, they're on a mission of inspiring love and joy and positive vibes through doing volunteering, through writing, and they also produce living stage shows called Inspired, and they're just an amazing couple. They have an incredible energy. So they've actually sold everything up a few years ago, and they just decided that they would go wherever their calling was. And it's taken them to some amazing places like Panama and Costa Rica, of course, New Zealand, luckily, Hawaii, and even Maine. Now, Paul, who's one of the main kind of authors and real instigators, he's actually had an educational field. He was a counselor and administrator for about 20 years, but he ended up suffering a head injury, which meant basically that he now focuses in a different area. So now he's focusing more on writing and speaking and about connecting people on issues, especially around what we can do with our planet. Now, Donna Maria Bordeaux is his wife, and she's 30 years. She's been a very successful physical therapist and works kind of in that field. And now basically she does a lot of work doing yoga classes, doing additional writing and stuff as well. So this concept of a book called Loving Kai, and Kai is actually the Hawaiian word for ocean. So what they're actually saying is love of the ocean or loving ocean. But basically this came about, similar story to what I've done, witnessing the trash that's accumulated on the international beaches where they used to go and clean up. And they came across World Oceans Day, and they've been supporting them for many, many, many years. And they like what World Oceans Day is about, how it's protecting our ocean, etc. So they came up with the concept basically that they would ask for authors, artists, etc., to contribute to this book, and that those proceeds would then be donated to World Oceans Day to help with their efforts. Now, if you want to know more about Loving Kai, I'll plug their website for you now, lovingkai.org, very difficult, Kai, K-A-I. But Loving Kai is going to be available, an amazing book, available for purchase on June the 8th. Now, I actually contributed my story about Love as an Action to them, and I'm so blessed that they will include me in this book. And of course, I really want to make sure that it creates a great awareness of so many other individuals out there who are working towards the same goal as what I am. And then, of course, yourself, Nora, and ADEX, but also your community or organization of Ocean Citizens, which, of course, I'm a very proud member and supporter of now. And I just think that's an amazing, sorry to go off topic a little bit, Nora, but I just think that's an amazing concept as well. How you can bring individuals like myself who are out there cleaning up rubbish to others that I've met through the Ocean Citizens community group that you run as well. And it brings us all together because we're all trying to do the same thing. So it's great creating that community, and thank you so much for doing that. But basically, if I did ask Paul what kind of inspired him and what kept him moving towards creating this book, Loving Kai, and I'm going to read what he wrote to me. He said he's not quite sure where the inspiration came from, but both of us have always had a commitment to serving the greater community, even as youngsters. For a moment, what keeps us moving is a deep desire to bring about healing for people and our planet. And we need to do a better job of supporting Mother Earth. We seem to be moving in a direction of putting our time and energy into efforts that make a difference for our precious planet, because she's the driving force. And this resonated with me because this is truly where I believe that Love as an Action was founded. Something deep in myself, and I've been involved in social enterprises and volunteering all of my life, ever since young. And this has now culminated in me maybe leading and trying to. You know, I'm not saying that I know everything that's going on, because I know nothing really, and I'm still learning. But trying to build a group of people together where where they can volunteer and make a difference to our world. So Loving Kai is going to be out on June the 8th. Now, this was put together pre-COVID-19. So they had a few months to kind of put this together once they came up with the idea. But seriously, Nora, what happened? COVID-19 came about. It became a lot more difficult. And I can tell you quite honestly, and I know Paul and Donna Maria won't mind, is that they're going to get their final proof on June the 6th. So they have 2 days to do their final edits before they actually release the book. But of course, I'm going to be buying a hard copy, but it will be available on soft copy as well. And if you go to the livingkai.org website, you'll be able to purchase through there. I think that that being able to work with people within your organization that truly are inspiring and inspired by others around them and the people that they connect with makes what you do easier. Because I guess what we do, all of us do on a daily basis, some of us have and we might call them jobs, but most of us have a passion for what we do. And I'm passionate about diving. I'm passionate about cleaning up the marine waste that is around us and finding ways of stopping that. And when you meet people like Paul and Donna Maria, you're lifted up yet again to, I guess, keep moving forward, and making a difference. Because, seriously, Nora, when I look through the images and yourself or anybody who's joining us tonight, if you look through the images on the hashtag the Litter Club, over 1,000 images, and I would say 75–80% of them involve young people. And as we move out of COVID-19, we enter what we're calling a new normal. And when I look at these kids, they're looking at what's already happening in their planet, and they're thinking that it's normal. They're thinking that the marine waste that they're playing in is just normal, and it's not. And it's heartbreaking to see what our pristine planet used to be like, and today where it's heading to. Thanks, Nora. Thanks.
Thank you, Josh. I just want to share a little bit about the Litter Club. Perhaps you can share with us where is this Litter Club or plastic collection exercise being practiced at? Is it in Singapore, or are you focusing only in Singapore? Are you focusing all across Asia as well?
Okay, thank you. Perfect question. Lead me into the next bit. So how did the Litter Club come about? So essentially, Lovers in Action doesn't really say exactly what we do. It's inspiring as a company name, but it doesn't bring us back to the fundamental thing that we do. And we're here to collect litter. We're here to stop litter. And we're here to change the way people do things with their litter. First thing would be, don't drop it anywhere. So the Litter Club came about in the sense that I want to form my passion, my dream is to bring other people together in a club that goes out and obviously collects litter. Now, yes, we do this locally here in Singapore, and sadly, COVID-19 has put us behind our timeline of going out and collecting 1 million pieces in a month. But I can tell you that our last cleanup that we did, just down below me here at the Klang River, we had over 30 volunteers turn up on a Sunday morning to help us clean up and pick up rubbish. I think we ended up with maybe 15 bags, absolutely chock-a-block full of rubbish, and it was just so sad to kind of see what was already in the water, as well as what had been left in the parks and the grass areas around here. So the Litter Club purely came out of, I guess, a marketing and a PR concept of mine to say, what is it we actually do? And what we actually do is we deal with litter. And I wanted to form this club Now, I've been so blessed that NTT, the organization that I'm a program director for, has actually sponsored Lovers in Action to develop an app. And this will be the Litter Club app, or TLC. You know, think of Tender Loving Care, but TLC for the Litter Club. We're going to build this app which basically identifies where rubbish is. Now, this could be, you know, small amounts, large amounts, all the way through to container load amounts. This could be from like normal litter on a street all the way through to hazardous material that we would need to get the government involved in. So it's an identification of litter application, mobile app that anybody can use, but also the other side of it is involving our community and our organizations in picking up that litter and identifying how much they've picked up, where they've picked it up, and to be able to celebrate, because I think this is one of the main things we have to do, to be able to celebrate the fact that we have collected so much trash and that we are making a difference to our planet. So that's kind of how the Litter Club came about. It's kind of the action arm of Lovers in Action, and it's kind of around being active and then creating clubs. So the first part of what you will see for the Litter Club project on Instagram, Facebook, has purely been around how we can get people to engage with us and show us the litter that is being dropped or being accumulated or left in their communities. And we've had a resounding success. And this gives us a good feel about where the app will go and how it will be picked up. Now, our next component, and guys, wait for this because thank you, Nora, that's beautiful. The next component that you will find here will be around how we identify the collection of litter. So this contest that you can see, the win $250 every week. This is a competition that the Litter Club has run for 4 weeks. Now, I have to be 100% honest here. Excuse me. This competition, this contest, is fully self-funded at the moment. This is something that I believe so passionately about that I'm putting up my own cash to make it happen. And you can see some of the images that you've got here. This was a cleanup crew in Kota Baru. But we have something really exciting, which will be launched when this one's finished, and we will do it at the same time of World Oceans Day. We're going to launch a new contest. Now, the winner of this contest, it'll be a monthly contest, and the winner or group of winners will actually receive 1,000 Singapore dollars. And the rules or idea around this contest will be about collecting rubbish. So what we've done is identify that there's lots of rubbish through the images that you can see in front of you. Now we want to get people to come together. Now, some of the rules and terms and conditions around how to win $1,000 in a month, right, which is a lot of money. How to win this will be that you have to collect at least 2 more of your friends, and 3 of you must join or must create your own litter club under the naming of the Litter Club. And you can call your own litter club. It might be ABC Litter Club. It might be Jakarta Clean Warriors, the Litter Club, but everything will fall under calling yourselves under the Litter Club. And our intention is to get groups of people to go out to take, I've got to think back to the terms and conditions that we've put together, but I think it's around 5 photos, 1 photo of your team and your team name, and you can build that name however you want. 1 photo of before you started your cleanup, 1 photo of after you finished your cleanup, 1 of you guys actually cleaning up together, and then 1. There might be 4 photos I think that are needed as part of the contest. And what we're looking at doing is, the feedback that we've got from the people who have entered this initial contest is that they want to do something about their environment. And most of them are young. Most of them are very enthusiastic and passionate about what they do. And I just feel it's an amazing opportunity for us to spread the word of the Litter Club to every part of Southeast Asia, and this is our target market at the moment, every part of Southeast Asia. So I'm expecting thousands and thousands of photos of people coming together, a minimum of 3, a maximum of 10 people coming together and forming a litter club in their community, in their region, in their district, wherever they are, in their kampong, wherever they are, and then spreading that word and starting a movement that will just continue, and others will pick up on it. And I would love it, seriously. I would love it if I was able to then pick some of those winners, or pick some of those people who are kind of doing it, go in, be part of that community, talk to the local leaders, show them what their young people are doing and what they're capable of, and how passionate they are for change, and then working with those local organizations, those local governments, those local leaders, to find ways of bringing about permanent change within those communities, find ways of creating amazing clean communities, reducing plastic bags, reducing single-use plastic, reducing this, and creating models that we can show the world that can happen. And you only got to look at somewhere like Taiwan, which 20 years ago was the garbage city, the garbage dump of Southeast Asia, and now is one of the cleanest countries that you will ever be part of, just by implementing simple initiatives. And truly for me, it's the youth that will make the difference. I'm getting on in age now, and yes, I want to make a difference, but it's the young people that will be able to make the change. My generation, sadly, has already done all the damage, and that's why I guess I want to be part of doing the cleanup. And I was so impressed when I went out on a cleanup the other day. That was one of the last ones we did before COVID-19. And I was chit-chatting to a young girl, and she said to me, no, the conversation went that I said, one of the things I feel is I started this far too late in my life. I wish I'd started this younger, and I would have been able to make a bigger difference. And do you know what she said to me? She said, at least you've started, and that's about the action word. And it's true, at least I have started. And all we have to do is build a momentum, build a movement, and get people started. And once we get it to a certain point, once there's enough pressure, once there's enough people involved in this movement, the law of diffusion will just take it, and everyone will have nothing else that they can do apart from follow us, Nora.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I was on mute. Okay, Joshua, I realized that for every initiative such as plastic with an angle towards ocean cleanup, or even the beach cleanup, there's always an angle where an organization would like to work with a certain community within a certain country. I know that you have spent a lot of time in Malaysia before you actually came down to Singapore. Love is in action, especially, is that something that you want to work more in the next, in the future run, to do some kind of like a community campaigns within the communities or the kampong area, like say in Terengganu, or especially when there's a lot of fishing involved and there's always a discussion on ghost nets, and also with smaller communities, of course, that kind of education that should be shared with regards to the usage of single-use packaging. What are your plans on this? Because I do know you have ambassadors from different countries that is working on this perspective. Perhaps you could share us a little bit.
Thanks, Nora. Terima kasih. So yes, you're correct. I did spend considerable 6 years in Malaysia, and had a wonderful time. It's so funny that you asked that question because this is so totally non scripted. I've just been in contact with my company secretary in Malaysia, and I am looking at starting a branch of Lovers in Action registered in Malaysia, and we will create a non-profit organization there. And I'm also looking at Indonesia as well to be able to do that. I think you're very right. How do we make the difference, and how do we work with community groups? Now, I feel that there is a lot of people out there who want to do something, but they just need an incentive, and they just need a push, and they just need some education. We create awareness, but awareness is only something. I mean, I've been aware of rubbish in the ocean forever. However, it's only until recently that I took action to be able to make the difference when it comes to the rubbish that's in our ocean. And I think, this is the difference. We talk about we've got to create awareness. We've got to create awareness. And truly, I think there's an incredible amount of awareness out there. And I think if you look at the average person throughout Southeast Asia, throughout Asia Pacific, I think all of us have had good parents, or parents that have at least taught us the difference between right and wrong. And I think that we've been gifted with a natural conscience. We know if something is right, and we know if something is wrong. But I can walk around the streets in Singapore and I can see rubbish everywhere, cigarette butts and cigarette packets and plastic bags and plastic drink containers and straws, etc. And these have been discarded within centimeters sometimes of a rubbish bin. So the discarding is not, oh, I can put it in the rubbish bin. The discarding is, I'm just going to drop it on the ground. Now, we inherently know that that's wrong. We inherently know that if we throw something out a window, rubbish out a window, that it's wrong. We inherently know that if we're in a car park in the middle of a building and we open our doors and we throw all the rubbish inside of our car onto the ground, we know it's wrong. But we justify it in the sense that I'm keeping somebody in a job. I don't want to rob him of his pay. Somebody else will pick that up for me. It's not my fault. You should blame the manufacturer for creating a single-use plastic, etc., etc. We all have excuses inside us that let us get away with the actions that we take. So when we say that we want to make somebody feel guilty for doing that, it's not going to work because we inherently know it's wrong. We know we feel guilty when we do it, but that does not stop us from doing it. So there has to be another way that we work with the human psyche to make these differences. And to me, it's about celebration. To me, it's about celebrating the success. And it's turning it around, because eventually people, if we turn enough people around, eventually they will follow the movement. So this is about, and this is what this competition, this contest that we're running starting on the 8th of June, this is what this is about. This is saying to people, I want you to get together with a group of friends. And you showed a photo just before of a group of 3 gentlemen, 3 young lads in Kota Baru in Kelantan in Malaysia. Now, he contacted me as part of the competition. His name is Kyle. He contacted me as part of the competition, and he said, actually, I'm going out on Friday and we're going to pick up some rubbish. Now, of course, a few things come to mind. Be careful of however many people that you go out with, because you're still under MCO. Congratulations, that's such a fantastic idea, but please stay safe. And please send us some pics of you doing it. Now, Kyle and his 2 friends went out. They picked up a ton of rubbish. In the sand, they wrote at the Litter Club project so that they could celebrate what we've done. We have invited them to become ambassadors within Lovers in Action as part of the Litter Club. I actually sent them a polo shirt each, just for being so incredibly proactive. So that's in the mail to them as we speak. And this happened. They went out last weekend. We know that there are amazing people within our organization. I believe it. I believe that there is people out there wanting to do the right thing. And I want to give them the motivation to do it. And if it means that it's going to cost me $1,000 Singapore dollars, it doesn't matter. It's a small matter. And I know that that $1,000 will come back to me from supporters and fundraising, etc. It will come back 1,000 times. And I truly believe that. So to me, it's a very small investment to start the process of celebrating people collecting litter, young people changing the planet, young people celebrating through imagery, through videos and photos, on being proud of going out and saying, hey, we did some cleanup today. Hey, we changed our community, and starting that movement and being able to show their parents, you know what, this is what we did on the weekend. Yeah. And then, because obviously with parents, we've got a lot of training to do for them. We have to do a lot of unlearning with them, and then we have to do a whole lot of retraining because they're so used to the single-use plastic. So it's our young people's responsibility to provide that training. So when I talk about, excuse me, when I talk about what is it that will change, I truly believe that our approach with the Litter Club will gain a point of momentum where eventually little litter clubs are going to be in every community. They're going to be seen everywhere throughout Southeast Asia. And eventually, when enough celebration is done, and look, it may not be in my lifetime, yeah, and I completely understand that, but the movement is beginning, and the outcome, I can already see it, where communities are so proud of how clean they are. Communities are so proud that their litter is not reaching our oceans, and communities are so proud when they take their kids in their arms, yeah, or by their hands, and they lead them down to the beach to have a swim, and they can walk down to that beach knowing there's not going to be broken glass, there's not going to be plastic everywhere, there's not going to be fishing nets, there's not going to be rubbish that their children are swimming in. And that day, and it may not be in my lifetime, as I said, but that day will be a very proud day for this planet. A very proud day for this planet. Thanks, Nora.
Thanks, Josh. Can I also check with you with regards to this contest that you, this marketing campaign contest that you are self-funding, just to create a greater awareness on the real issue, and also the collaborations that you actually work with to live for. The book itself that's going to be launched in World Oceans Day itself, which is happening next week on Monday. So what, I mean, like, perhaps you can tell us a little bit more about To Live For, the book itself. Like, what can one expect from that book? Because is it a literary collection, or will there be more illustrations or pictures that one could actually see from that book itself? And also, perhaps you can share with us a little bit more on, I mean, like, who are the organizations that will benefit from this sale of the book?
Cool, thanks, Nora. So I think there's kind of about three things that I'd like to cover there. The first one is the competition. So of course you'll be on the mailing list, Nora, because I know that you're an avid photographer, and I know that you've got lots of friends. And believe me, I know in Singapore, sadly, which is, I think one of the cleanest cities on the planet, sadly there is still plenty of stuff to pick up. So I'm looking forward to having your entry, Nora, and it won't be me that selects you. So it's we have a panel that go through all of the images, and they do that. In fact, the last one we have we've done on a weekly basis, and the response to that has just been just phenomenal. So we're kind of expecting this next marketing, this next contest to also follow that same vein, to also inspire people, I guess, to just be doing something different. And I can tell you a wonderful story. I actually gave away $100 to 2 runner-ups this week, as well as the $250 to the winner of the image. And one of the runner-ups, he lives in Davao in the Philippines, and he messaged back and he said, "Thank you so much for selecting me as a runner-up." He said, "I've now been able to buy a new lens for my camera, and it's something that I've been trying to save for and do for a long time. I'm a photojournalist for my university here, and everything that I do in uni is all about the environment." Now, this young fella doesn't even live near the ocean. He lives in Davao, but actually up more in the countryside. So he's actually away from the ocean, and but he still submitted some amazing and thought-invoking and inspiring images. And you know, a picture can tell you so much. So this is an amazing story where you can celebrate, where one thing that you do can influence and affect so many other people. Because this young fellow has gone back, he now has a new lens for his camera. He's out there more enthusiastic about taking photos and telling the story about the environment. He's obviously at his uni, I hope, telling them, wow, you know, I won this $100. This is what I had to do. This was the Litter Club. This is what they were involved in. This is what they're doing. And he's already starting to spread that news. And he's one of the people, of course, that I've said, wait until June the 8th, because we've got a new competition coming. So now with the $1,000, I've now incentivized him to, I want to win this so that I can actually buy a new camera. But just, you know, small things have the ability to be able to make a huge impact, I guess, and to kind of to change people's lives. And what we are after, what I'm after, is being able to not just spread awareness, not just say we need to save the whales or clean the oceans or not do shark fishing, etc. That's a lot of words, yeah? And a lot of organizations do a lot of amazing actions to be able to bring those words to life. For me, my organization, I want people to collect rubbish and be proud of the fact that they have and celebrate it. And that's where this next contest actually gets people to move into the action phase. As I said, we've got 1,000 pictures of rubbish throughout Southeast Asia, probably thousands now. But what I want to do is that next step. How can we take that awareness that I've taken a picture of the rubbish now to the point of I have a bag and I'm going to put it in and I'm going to put it in a bin, or I'm going to make it go away from my community? And how can I find others to help me to do that? And then how can I make my community proud of what I'm doing? And then how can I get the rest of the community involved? And this is a long process, but I'm expecting a few quick wins. You know, I'm expecting some amazing photos. I'd love to be able to, when we can fly again, go somewhere, meet the locals, meet the team that did it, really celebrate the success of being part of it. The other question that you kind of brought to my attention was more around loving Kai. And you know, both Paul and Donna Maria have done an amazing job in a short period of time to be able to bring this book together. Now they have over 60 contributors in a matter of a few weeks who wanted to tell their story. So what can you expect from Loving Kai? You can expect, if you buy the hard copy, you can expect a beautiful coffee table piece that you would be very happy to share with your friends, as well as flick through on a quiet evening to learn more about what real people are doing within the world to make the world a different place. And contributors come from New Zealand and Singapore, from Hawaii, actually come from Costa Rica, the UK, there's contributors from everywhere, and they're bringing very real, very true stories, I guess, to you. Now, for me, it took going to see a movie called Blue the Film for me to have an epiphany, for me to have a life-changing moment, I guess. And that life-changing moment was around about having to take action and create Love as an Action. And what I would like to think is that when you purchase a copy, a hard copy or a soft copy of Loving Kai, that you will open it to a page and an image, and we're talking about art. So this is hand-drawn art. This is computer-generated art as well as photography. And my hope is that somebody will open that book one day in the near future. Someone will open that book one day and they will read something or see something that inspires them to take action when it comes to saving our planet, when it comes to reducing the waste that we're producing, when it comes to eradicating single-use plastic and moving towards zero waste. That's my dream for what Loving Kai can bring. One person can change the world. And if somebody opens that book and reads my story, if somebody opens that book and reads one of the other 60 stories or the other images that are involved in that book and is inspired to do something different, to take action, then Loving Kai has done more than we will ever know. Because one small action can inspire so many different things. And this is the book that you're seeing here. This is the organization that Paul and Donna Maria run, the Loving Kai, Loving Ocean, and a collaborative book, as you can see. They will send out a link in a few days. This will be updated before the 8th of June. And the proceeds from this Loving Kai book will actually go to World Oceans Day, the charity World Oceans Day, to help them in what they're doing and help them in what they continue to do in protecting our oceans. And all organizations, including Love as an Action, which is the company that the nonprofit organization that runs the Litter Club, all of us need community support. All of us need help to be able to continue the programs that we do. For me, I'm blessed that I'm able to self-fund a little bit to be able to start getting the message out there. But also, you know, we can only give so much. Sometimes we need to also receive in some which way or form. And if you look at what Paul and Donna Maria are doing, and by inspiring others, by actively doing and cleaning up the ocean, then truly they are an amazing couple that deserve our support by purchasing a copy of this book, by helping do what they do, and by celebrating and supporting World Oceans Day. And it's just an amazing project that they're part of, and a project that I truly believe so many things are meant to be. And this was meant to be, my connection with them, again, was meant to be we're across the other side of the world from them. But all things are meant to be. And COVID-19 has allowed us to come together in different ways to be able to do that. So Nora, I think that, you know, anybody who's watching this webinar, take the opportunity to look at lovingkai.org, support what Paul and Donna Maria are doing. The book will be on sale just prior to June the 8th, and support what people are doing. And I always say when I go on a plorking, which is picking up litter and walking, and of course a big movement in Europe is what is it? No, not jogging. I'm trying to think of what is jogging and picking up litter. I can't remember. It's gone out of my head. How terrible. But essentially jogging and picking up, there is a word for that. Plorking is when you are picking up litter while you're walking. Oh, plogging, of course, yeah. Picking up litter and jogging. Plogging, it's not that hard. I'm not a jogger. You can tell I'm a little bit bigger kind of guy. so I don't jog too often. But I do a lot of walking. So I do plorking rather than plogging. Ugh, so many words. So it's kind of a case of like if you if you want to support people who have a great idea, and when I go out kind of talking with people, I say to my boss and I say to my friends and stuff like that, I say, come talking with me, come, let's pick up some rubbish. And they go, oh, no, sorry, I'm busy. Yeah, I got stuff to do. And I'm like, okay. But I said, it's easy for you to support the people who can. I don't expect you to come out with me every weekend and pick up rubbish. Yeah. But if it's something that you cannot do, you can always help the people who can do it. Yeah. And I'm one of those people who can do it. So I don't mind asking them, hey, just give us some money and we will do some extra walking in your name because you gave us some cash. Anything that will help us, Nora, and as well as exposure, which I'm so grateful for jumping on this webinar and being part of ADEX Pixel, the virtual expo. I'm saddened that I was unable to join ADEX this year because it's an amazing expo. But thank you so much for the opportunity to be able to join you and ADEX together and be able to share my dream and passion with others. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Josh. I have a question though. With all these marketing campaigns and projects that Love Selection is doing, is there going to be an outcome like what Loving Kai is doing with all these campaigns? And yeah, and could also this projects be funded towards community within Asia itself? That could help. Like for example, what you did. One of the response that you get from the Davao participant that they're winning. He's winning on your competition. Actually, help him to fund his passion for his hobbies. Are you looking towards that kind of a CSR format through a certain output or outcome from your campaigns?
Yeah, Nora, thank you. And I think you're right there. And again, there's a couple of aspects, I guess, at least a couple of aspects that I would like to kind of do. Are we going to use what we've done so far to create greater awareness? Something along the lines of Loving Kai. And I was joking the other night in the sense that I would love to, and I do know some people in Malaysia that do this, and I don't know if you've ever been to the light show in Putrajaya, where they light up all of Putrajaya on a night, just incredible. But I look through the images that we have already. If you go to the hashtag, the Litter Club, and look at the images there, I've spoken to some of these artists, and I want to take these images, and somehow I want to project them on buildings around Southeast Asia. I want when people drive home to see kids, and you saw some of the images of there, swimming amongst this rubbish. I want to be able to, and I know I can't change the world through guilt, and that's not what it's about. It's purely about showing what should not be a normal, certainly not the new normal. So yeah, there's a way that we will continue to take the messages that we've already received as part of Litter Club and take those messages even further. From a CSR point of view, that's definitely where we're looking. As I said, we're already working on a CSR project with NTT Limited, who have sponsored us to create this app, and the app will be there. And we'll be working with other organizations once we can obviously kind of get out and about a little bit more. We'll be looking at working with other organizations to create and generate revenue to help communities and organizations bring about change, the change that they want to. Please appreciate that Lovers in Action is a very new organization. The official launch was on January the 22nd of this year. It was registered prior to that. I do this on a part-time basis. I don't have any employees or anything like that. Purely this is done when I'm not doing my normal 8 to 10 to 12 hour job. and in the weekends as well. I have an incredible support crew who help me create the beach cleanups and things like that, and a whole lot of people who kind of help me because I just put stuff out there and go, do you think this is a good idea? And they go, yeah, Josh, that's a great idea. So I just do that. So this is we're in our infancy when it comes to Lovers in Action, but I already feel that the Litter Club has an old soul. I already feel that it was waiting to be born. And now that it has been born, I feel that the momentum is just going to take it to unparalleled heights because it's all encompassing. But certainly we want to work with organizations, local, big, small, individuals, philanthropists, anybody with cash, anybody without cash, anyone who wants to give us food, anything like that. We're totally open to any donations, contributions, etc., that will help our cause, and our cause is helping other people. We're not here to help ourselves. We're here to help others, and we're here to help our planet. We would love to do more work on CSR projects. Thanks, Nora. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. Last question. We're almost coming to the end of our session, actually. Good times end fast, like what they say. Okay, so we do have World Oceans Day coming next week. And there are many notable environmental days happening along the line, like for example, Biodiversity Day, which is happening end this week, if I'm not wrong. World Oceans Day on this Friday, next Monday, and also the Coral Triangle Day that is happening on Tuesday. You being someone who spent a lot of time in the ocean, diving leisurely, and also as something that you do as part of your part-time job or passion. In your opinion, right? Because you have been doing this for a while, you've seen the ocean for many, many years. What message do you think at this point of time should be amplified and the public or the masses should know about with regards to the ocean?
Nora, that's easy. I can't believe you asked me that question, because you've just given me the perfect opportunity to finish up. My message is that until recently, we used to fly everywhere, we used to drive everywhere, we used to travel like crazy, and it's been kind of 8 weeks since that has all stopped. And during that time, since COVID-19 started in kind of January, February, the world has been able to take a breath, a very short breath. And I think I shouldn't even use the word breath, I think a gasp, and a very short gasp. And it has changed so quickly, minutely, but quickly. Fishes returning to the canals in Venice, otters running around at Mustafa here in Singapore. I can see, I look out from my window here, I can see Batam as clear, which I never ever could before in the year that I was here before. Never see it. Throughout China, Europe, people are now seeing blue skies. India, people are seeing Nepal mountains. It's incredible. Our world, our Earth, has actually had the opportunity to take the minutest of gasps, all right? And we've seen what that minuteness of gasps has delivered. So if I have one message, it's about back to where we were. We have an opportunity as we exit COVID-19 to change the way we live, to change the way we act, to change the way we feel about our planet and the way that we respect and work towards making it a better world. We have an opportunity to reduce single-use plastics, to start growing our own plants, to start doing the right thing, to actually recognizing our conscience and living and breathing what our conscience tells us, and that is do the right thing, because we know what we're doing right now is wrong. So my prayer, my hope, my aspiration as we exit COVID-19 is, let's not go back to where we were. Let's find a way, a different way to go forward, because we've been given an opportunity to see a different world and a different way of life. And that's my message, Nora.
Thank you so much, Joshua, for your time and for sharing with us this session. I wish you nothing but the best for your next adventure and your focus towards your passion, which is to have a plastic-free ocean, which is in line with what ADEX have in mind for the couple of years, especially regards to plastic in the ocean. Thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you real soon. And as soon as this COVID-19 session ends.
Thanks, Nora. Always a pleasure catching up with you. Thank you so much, team. I really appreciate it. Thank you, ADEX.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye now.